So you're looking at web hosting and your head is spinning. What is web hosting? Does every website need it? What should you look for in a web host? Today I'm clearing up these questions and more, and I'll give you some expert tips and tricks on web hosting to help you supercharge your hosting experience. When you're new to the website building world, you're left to figure out so many unknowns. I want to clear those up today, starting with the basic breakdown of what web hosting is. A web hosting account is simply a section of a server or a beefy computer that holds the website files that you create or the files that a website builder creates for you. Web hosting at its basic form is like having a Dropbox or Google Drive account. You're paying for file storage on a cloud platform. So does everyone need web hosting? If you load a page on the internet, it's hosted on a server somewhere. So while every website needs web hosting, you might not need to purchase web hosting for your website. If you're using a platform like Wix, Squarespace, or Shopify, these are hosted platforms. This means you can just pay one monthly fee to access the website builder, and they will automatically host it for you on their own in-house hosting. If you're using a self-hosted platform like WordPress.org, this is when you need to purchase your own web hosting. One of the most common questions I get asked is, Christian, does server location matter? If I'm located in the UK, should my web server also be located in the UK? As a general rule, yes, but there are a few factors. First, you ideally want your server located as close to your target audience as possible. If you're a local business, having your server located in the same country and same region if possible makes sense. This is because the farther a server is from your viewer, the longer it takes for the files to be transferred across the world via the internet to the viewer's local device. But if you're starting a blog with a global reach, server location becomes less important. I generally would recommend getting a web host that offers servers in your country, but if that's difficult to find, make sure to prioritize other features of the web hosting as well. And speaking of other features, your hosting experience will vary greatly depending on the hosting product you choose. Hosts have different plans and product features, but there are generally two types of web hosting to consider: managed and unmanaged. Most basic web hosting is unmanaged. This means you'll be responsible for the management, speed, and security of your own website. Your web host will make sure the server itself is reliable and stays up, but you are responsible for keeping your website backed up, secure, and safe from hackers. With managed web hosting, your web hosting provider will also help with the speed and security of your website. This is typically done through automatic backups, automatic updates, and continuous security scanning for any vulnerabilities. So in addition to maintaining the web server itself, they will also take steps to ensure your individual website is optimized as best as possible on the server. Managed hosting is most commonly seen in the context of WordPress. Now, a great benefit to purchasing managed WordPress hosting is an uncommon but helpful feature. These hosts offer staging capabilities, which will supercharge your development process. If you've ever worked with WordPress before, you know the struggle when you're trying to redo a page or maybe even redo the entire site, and you have to publish the page publicly and overwrite the live version in order to view changes. A simple fix to this is using a staging environment. This is where the entire WordPress site gets duplicated to a subdomain like staging.yourdomain.com. You can make as many changes to the WordPress site as you want without affecting the live site. When you're ready to publish, you can just click a button and the staging version is swapped to the live site. A staging environment isn't absolutely necessary for WordPress if you're just starting out, but many starter web hosting plans are starting to offer it, and it's becoming more common to see. At this point, you might feel overwhelmed about what to look for in a web host. How can you be sure you're picking the right plan? There are a few priorities I like to look for to ensure a quality hosting experience. First, make sure your web host has automatic backups. You never want to be in a position of needing to restore a backup if something goes wrong and realizing you don't have one. At a minimum, I like to see automatic weekly backups, but I recommend finding a host that takes backups daily. You'll also need to make the call of whether you want managed or unmanaged hosting. Unmanaged can be fine if you're tech savvy and don't mind maintaining your website. But if you want an it just works solution that's simple to use, go for managed hosting. This would be a host like Flywheel or WP Engine. I also like to look for free SSL to be included in web hosting. An SSL certificate is what gives you that lock icon in your browser next to your domain name. Without SSL, Google Chrome displays a not secure warning that's troubling for visitors. At this point, it's become the industry standard for hosts to offer free SSL certificates. I wouldn't say to avoid a web host if they don't offer SSL, but it's a bonus if you're able to find a match that does offer it. Lastly, much of your web hosting decision comes down to personal needs. Do you need budget hosting that's as cheap as possible while being passable to get you started? Are you willing to spend more money on hosting that's smooth and offers a luxury experience? You can find decent, reliable hosting from many sources, but the setup experience, management panel, and customer support will vary widely based on the host. Now I'd like to address a few things I get asked often. What is DNS? And what is Cloudflare? DNS stands for Domain Name System, and you can think of it like the phone book of the internet. Whenever someone types yourdomain.com, the DNS system looks it up and determines which web server to grab the website files from. There are a number of ways to handle DNS. You could use your web host's name servers if they offer them, and this is the easiest way to set up your web hosting. However, if you opt for a managed web host like Flywheel, Cloudways, or WP Engine, these hosts do not provide name servers. This means you need to use an external DNS platform like Cloudflare. Instead of your web host managing site traffic, Cloudflare acts as the mediator to route traffic to its final destination. Cloudflare brings some extra benefits like a security firewall and faster speeds. Cloudflare stores parts of your website files on hundreds of servers across the world. This means when a user types in your website, Cloudflare finds the closest geographic server in their network to begin serving the website files, then it only has to go to your web server for a few files that the content delivery network doesn't save. Some of the top companies in the world trust Cloudflare to be an extra layer of speed and security for their website. I want to clarify that Cloudflare is not a web host. You still need to provide a web hosting account, but it's a free power-up to any website that is worth the extra few minutes to set up. So hopefully you now have a better understanding of web hosting and what to look for. If you're wondering which web hosts I recommend, click here to watch my video on my top web hosts for any budget. With that being said, I'll catch you guys next time.